such an asshole.
Continuing on with Asshole Consulting, where I, the world's only professional asshole, will answer your questions as you got money. At assholeconsulting.com, good philosophical question here. Dear Cappy, it's one of your older videos talking about sex bots. You were saying you're not entirely against it, but there would be no intimacy. According to most statistics, most men aren't getting intimacy anyway. Even men in most relationships aren't getting it, so I believe it is a moot point. For there to be intimacy, there has to be genuine desire. You're not wrong. I mean, there's just rank lust where it's like, yeah, I want to get my rocks off. And she's like, yeah, I'm in the mood too. I think Rollo Tomasi has pointed out how most men will never experience true, genuine desire from a woman. True, but the human race continued on anyway, because up until very recently, time-wise speaking, women needed men. And that was the classical exchange. You give us sex and children, take care of the home, we'll protect you. We'll give you resources. People may not like that. There's a word that begins with a P and ends with prostitution that describes all this, but I don't. That's how it's human nature. It really is. But yeah, and this is where I've become more sympathetic towards women over a course of time. Is a lot. I gotta say, most women didn't want to be with their husbands. That wasn't their first choice, but they need to survive and get by. And now here we finally are. Technology has evolved, the white collar revolution, industrial, technological revolution. Girls don't need guys anymore. But yeah, in the past and to this day, I don't think, I'm sorry, I could be wrong, but heck, half you all end up divorced. Don't tell me that's genuine desire. The data's on my side. I at least have a plausible theory. I would say the vast majority of women are not viscerally, oh my God, I want him so much, attracted to their husband. And they never were. There was a minority of women that there was genuine love, genuine desire. But we managed to procreate anyway out of necessity and a what do they call it? Not idiosyncratic, a mutually beneficial. What do they call that? Where two people or two entities, uh, symbiotic relationship between men and women. The other argument some people make is it would destroy dating relationships between real men and women. Relationships already in the shitter, so I doubt it could get any worse. These same people believe it would make men view women. These same people make women view women as less human. I don't believe that would hold true for most men. I would like to know your thoughts on these arguments at various spots. Okay, so how do we want to approach this one? Argument against Sexbots. All right. Let's talk about the reality on the ground, and then we'll go forward into the future, theorizing what would happen with Sexbots. Right now, relationships between men and women have never been a lower peak or a lower point in all of human history than it is in the West right now. I would argue and maintain that is because women never like guys that much. However, if the right guy came along, they would. However, because of limited resources and nature and all that, it came to an exchange where men would keep women alive, for lack of a better description, and women would provide services to men, including children. That's how it worked. Now women are literally liberated from that. And we as humanity, the human race, we really do have an important discussion. Do we want to continue the human race? Now, I think at some level, maybe there will be a great population crash, but humans, there will always be some women that do want to have kids. And since women are the bottleneck, because sperm is cheap, eggs are expensive. Since women are the bottleneck, there will always, I think, be some women who want to go and have kids. So I don't think the human race will go extinct, but we are definitely looking at a population collapse going down basically to the level of demand women have for family and children, or women demand in terms of sex. And it's shocking. I mean, you could really say that the population collapse is merely a stock price of humanity reflecting one sex interest in continuing on the race. And that is a fraction of what we thought it was, which is fine. And so, from a very libertarian perspective, whether men want to have sex bots, whether women actually want to have kids or not, it doesn't matter to me as long as, I know this is going to sound like the cheap libertarian out because it's frankly nothing more than the future of the human race on the line. But from a libertarian perspective, like, look, I'm not going to force you. I'm so tired of the forcing, so tired of the cajoling and negotiating and pulling. Do you want to fuck or not? There you don't. Hey, you know what? There's more important shit going on than making copies of myself. Right? Oh, here we go. Of course, of course. Wow. I'm just going to end the. Here we go. We'll do it this way because I got to go to the gym. I got shit to do. There's more important, like your sentience, your existence, your experience, your aliveness before you die. That has to count for something for both men and women. And if one group really doesn't want to have sex, really doesn't want to procreate, unless it's with the top percentage of men, which then could argue, okay, then you just have like gigolo slaves and they go ahead and populate. And okay, fine, whatever it is. But the individual men, like, no, I got my own life to get on with. And women's like, no, I don't really want you to, I really don't want to be with a guy unless he's like a top 5% guy. That I think is programmed human nature. What has changed is the technology now where one sex really doesn't need the other sex. That symbiotic dependency or relationship is now gone. And the question philosophically then becomes if a species, whether it's human or animal, but we're all animals, is so smart, it creates the technology that it disrupts the fundamental relationship that two sexes have between each other to the point one sex says, nope, I don't want nothing to do with the other one, and it goes extinct. Is that not simple evolution? Like, does that species deserve, I'm not talking a moral, but if the species is programmed in such a way that it cannot survive its own intelligence and the technology it creates, then doesn't it, in the grand scheme of evolution, deserve to die out? Now, again, I don't believe that there are no women that want to have children. I don't believe there are no women that don't want to procreate or do what I believe there are women who want to have family and kids, but I would say it's a minority, definitely a minority, and highly dependent upon the quality of the guy, obviously. So if we could have nothing but the top 5% of guys, yeah, I think most women would be willing to go and have children. In generally speaking, the political world of women, I think their dream state would be there's what do they call it? A stable of men, a stable of studs that are used to, oh yeah, we can have children or maybe not even sex, maybe. I don't know. It's really up to the gals. And these guys can impregnate the majority of us, and then we'll have super 5% top men, and then we're going to get all the other men to be drones, like very much like a beehive, where only if, the drones, you worker drones, go and create this. It'd be a communist economy, but I'm sorry, the men cars don't run without gas. Men don't run and work without sex. Sorry, it's just true. And I've written about that before in A World Without Men, an analysis of an all-female economy. It will collapse, and then you're going to have a population collapse, regardless, because there ain't no food, electricity, or whatever else. But how is this already so, the case against sex bots, uh, would be the case against the end of humanity. Because being if we were to take it to its natural conclusion, now we go into the forecasting. Let's say guys got their Stepford housewives. Let's say guys got the fembots, the ones that didn't try to kill you, right? Yeah, bye. See ya. They and you're not wrong. Your observations about it relationships between men and women are already in the tank. And I think initially it's the white collar revolution. You're starting to see women's demand for men for what it actually is. The opportunities to procreate, breed, marry, have sex, etc., form families are going down. Women are pursuing other things. And we're kind of already going that way. And yes, the guys are replacing women in some cases with actual sex dolls. For those of you tuning in the turd flinging monkey, I don't know if we're going to get to Stepford housewife bots, but there are already substitute goods that have long been on the market, especially corn. Rhymes with Nebraska. Yep. Guys like their corn. They sure do like their corn. And that has been a bigger replacement of women. Yeah, okay, down the road, sure. Would it be great to have a sex bot? Sure, of course. Fembot? Oh, yeah. Have those blonde gals with the 60s hairdo? Sure. Okay. It's over by that time. It would be over. Um, so we're already kind of going that way. But and if such an invention were to be made, yeah, it probably would be the end of humanity. My question is that does that make it a case against the sex bots? Is that necessarily wrong? In other words, like God or nature's up there looking at humans like, dude, I gave you all this capacity, gave you all this intelligence, and all you did was engineer a way to not like each other and replace one another. If the sexes don't like if they're that antagonistic towards one another, then I don't think that species deserves to live. It doesn't deserve to go on just because it won't. So I from a case against as a guy, look, you're asking the wrong guy about morals and ethics when it comes to humanity. I hate humans. They're despicable fucking people. I'm a misanthrope. I am Arthur Schopenhauer all the way. Humans, if they're not trying to screw you over and steal from you, they're trying to play fucking mind games and bullshit. Very few humans are worth. We're despicable. Now we're impressive. We're very impressive. All right, but I don't give a shit. I don't have kids. I'm not going to have kids. I don't give a fuck what happens to humanity after it. But I do know if men and women can't get together to repopulate the planet, y'all don't deserve to exist. And then some other creature 50 million years from now will evolutionize where maybe the sexes don't hate each other and they have the intelligence. And then they have the intelligence like, hey, we could make identical, robotic technological replacements of the opposite sex. And people would say, but, or not people, but new superhumans or creatures of the future who dominate the planet would say, yeah, but we like the opposite sex. Why would we do that? And that's the species that will continue on. And it really is the individual versus the future of humanity. When humanity treats the individual like shit, fuck out of here. I don't give a. I'd argue that's what you should you should be doing. Like, let's step back and look at it. Has it gotten so bad, which it has, that admittedly some men are not the best men are replacing their women with sex dolls? Right. Again, no one's getting hurt. I don't care. Right. But it's gotten to the point that we're finding surrogates. Men are definitely replacing women with corn. Women are replacing men with well, I don't think they were replacing men. I think they never liked guys that much to begin with. Which again, one might argue, well, isn't that kind of a flaw in the programming? Like, yeah, but they're only going to go after the top 5%. So there's that switch. Doesn't this seem exhausting? Doesn't this seem tiring? And I don't know what your experience has been with your average human, especially in the West, but I I don't know. I really have a hard time imagining why this particular society deserves to continue on. So the thing, oh my God, the cases against sex bots, oh, humanity would end. Why? Because they couldn't get together and fuck? Because they couldn't like each other? Well, then that society or group or species, they don't deserve that animal deserves to go extinct then. And I got more important fucking shit to worry about in my life because it's my fucking life. I don't care what the circus clowns and the people participating in the sex war do at the end of the day. And it's since I don't have kids, it's again, I am hypocritical and aloof and can be flippant about this discussion. But if you care about humanity and you could make the existential argument that what else is there in the universe? We're pretty fucking awesome in terms of what we can accomplish. Yeah. Yeah, you might want to be against sex bots. Yeah, you might want to be against that. But I'm like, I'm not gonna say, oh, you can't have a sex bot. Or you girls can't have toys. And you all have what are we gonna do? What in other words, think about the responsibility. Let's say we decide ethically against sex bots. Those are bad. We're not gonna create more humans. What are we gonna do? Have a breeding program? It's exhausting arguing against human nature. It's exhausting. And if we have the hardware and the DNA and the genetics within us that we have our own demise, that we advance technology so much to the point that the disinterested sex doesn't want it, like that's the level and demand it goes to. Or I guess another aspect of technology I hadn't thought about is we're so good at technology, not only can we produce enough goods and services that the female sex does not rely on the male sex, which argument for freedom there, but we all get fat because we make so many calories of energy through our food that we're no longer physically attracted to one another. I guess we're at the end of the line. I guess we're at the natural conclusion of the human race. Do we gotta do test tube babies? Do we gotta go and lecture and moralize people about having babies? I mean, they're trying to do it in Europe. "Oh, we'll pay you to have kids." I don't know. Have you thought about here's where you could make the argument culture would have helped at one point in time or tradition, where instead of and this is true, instead of training women to view men as at competitors at best, adversaries at worst, maybe you taught women like, "Yeah, you should like men, and men are great, and you should be beautiful and sexy, like the thing fucking humans were the entire fucking time." You know, the thing that caused the babies to be made, billions of well, not billions, but a couple million years worth of human evolution. But they're not gonna I mean, the world's trying to tell you something, Peck. All you gotta do is listen. And I am having a harder and harder time believing in some kind of, like, ideal and the way things should. Hey, we got technically unlimited wealth. What do the women wanna do now that they don't need men? And by choice of saying, "We don't want men." Oh, they say they want a guy and we really want to get married. It's my day. It's like, yeah, if it's a top 5% guy, literally, literally top 5%, which means no for 95% of the rest of you. And then one could argue, okay, let's say you got that top 5% guy. Well, I mean, what kind of person are you going to be? Nice. This is again, we're training and culture and tradition. Are you going to be pleasant? Are you going to be a royal, combative, pain in the ass girl boss that the guy's just going to step out and cheat on, even if assuming you even were to get married? So if you care about humanity, yes, you would generally be against sex bots, but then you'd be for a whole host of other rules and regulations you force on people. There'd be finishing schools. We'd be admonishing and shaming people for being fat, particularly women. There'd be you would sit girls down, mom and grandma would sit, well, boys have needs. We know you don't like it, but there'd be long hair, beauty standards to go back to, I don't know, 80s or 90s. The girls, there'd be no tattoos. There'd be a whole bunch of other things that now you got to go And now your obligation, so it's immoral to have sex bots. It's immoral to replace one sex with the thing, basically. All right, so now it's moral to lecture and tell everybody, hey, you got to do this thing with your finite life and go have sex and make babies. I, it's a piece of me. Hear me out now. Hang on, everybody. It's a piece of me. I think we got this back. How about, how about you all say, oh my God, slot A goes into hole B. I wonder if that's meant to be. And what if we weren't assholes to each other? What if we got in shape, not just for our own sakes, but to be sexy and pretty? And what if we got together and had fun? You know, that whole be fruitful and multiply. Maybe not what if, just hear me out. What if y'all weren't trained to hate each other? And I can't say we. What if you, I won't say which sex was trained to hate the other sex. What if you weren't trained to hate the other sex? What if you were taught like, oh, look, they're nice. Oh, isn't that fun? A great, great movie. And I saw it again as an older adult. It's been 10 years since I saw it. Was Once Upon a Time in the West, and not to bore you with the details, but a very, very, very attractive woman inherits a piece of property that the train is going to be coming through in the Wild West. And the two heroes got to go on their way. And the guy says, pretty gal like you will motivate all those working men out there to build this town for the railroad to come in and make it the best town it could. And he says, if you ever get slapped in the ass, smile and act like it didn't happen. Which today, I mean, oh my God, I'm sure the feminist van is coming down the dirt road as we speak now. And I better go get my 308. I must be. And he's like, look, and his point he was making was, look, someone spanks you in the ass, smile, and just act like it didn't happen. Because female beauty, it's the sun. It'll power. Men are flowers, women are the sun. You will make the flowers bloom. Your beauty will inspire men. And that's the end scene. It's the girl coming out there with some water and just smiling and happy and radiant. And all the guys are like, well, hot damn. And they take their hats off and they're gathering around. Not like fucking animals. This happened in America back in the olden days. Nowadays, yeah. Keep voting for it, ladies. Uh, she inspired these men, and the theory went, movie ended, that this town would then become a great town because her beauty would inspire the men. If we could get back to working together, that would be great. But at the same time, I'm not an idiot. Online dating data has, I mean, again, it's skewed. I admit it's online. Man, does it tell you some things. And they're looking, and it is now the top 5%. You got to be 1 in 20, which if you think about it, going to Walmart, and I agree with the women on this. Yeah, if I was a gal and I walked into Walmart, I wouldn't be fucking 19 out of the 20 guys in Walmart either. Oh, but that's just me. I think that'd be an easier way. Where feminism is the hatred of men. If y'all got rid of that, I'm wondering if the sexes would get along a little bit better. And then we wouldn't have to, but I don't know. Maybe feminism is nothing more than the real world codification of women's true believing and opinion and view of men. And if that's the case, then the human race doesn't deserve to continue on. And I'm okay with sex bots. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, and you've mentioned it here before, you were saying you're not entirely against it, but there would be no intimacy. According to most statistics, most men aren't getting intimacy anyway. Even men in most relationships aren't getting it. So I believe the point is moot. Although I'm going to destroy dating relationships between real men and women, relationships are already in the shitter. So I doubt it could get any worse. You're right. The future is now. We're already here. So I guess me, personally, I am not against sex bots. I'm not against you girls and your toys. I'm not against men getting sex bots or sex dolls. I'm not against the corn. I'm not against Nebraska. I'm against Nebraska drivers. They drive very slow. They're special. God's special needs children all live in Nebraska. Apparently, they give them driver's licenses too. This ain't my battle. Not woe is me, but humanity. I'd like to see humanity abandon me long ago. Humanity never invested in me long ago. I'm trying to. People say, Cappy, when you now you guys joke. You say, Cappy, when are you going to give back to the community? I'm like, when the fuck did the community give to me? I'm not expecting a handout, but look, it's fine if you don't want to give me a handout. Getting in my fucking way, making me go to school, telling me I'm a bad person because I don't get good grades or the girls don't need boys. All the fuck, you got to go major in this. You got to go spend all this money and time in college. All lie after lie after lie. No, really, really. I don't give a fuck if society collapses. Don't give a fuck. It's what it deserves. I mean, it's like David Niven and the Guns of Navarone. I don't care. Let the whole world blow itself up. That's what it bloody deserves. And I didn't understand why he was so pessimistic. Now I get it. Now I get it. I'm like, nah, you're all assholes. And so, individually, from my perspective, yeah, do what you want. Do the drugs. Go have kids. Raise nuclear families. Get your AI waifu bot. Ladies, go read your Harlequin romance. What is it called? Filth. Fantasize. Never settle. Girl bot. Go get your master's degree. Go live. Go travel. Go do whatever you want. That's what the menu, life without the opposite sex, is all about. Like, I don't care. I don't have kids. And unless, the Equalizer 3, Denzel Washington. Love that movie. Because he finally finds where he belongs. And until I find a community that actually has some ethics and morals and standards, has some culture, isn't adversarial, isn't always looking to scam or live or parasite off of the individual, until I find that, now I think it's a work of fiction, obviously, but Denzel Washington, the Equalizer, he finds himself injured and he's in this nice little Italian village on the Mediterranean, and they take care of him and they're nice. No one's trying to kill him or screw him over. People are happy. He buys fish at the fish market. There's a cute. Now, the stretch was, hey, here happens to be a cute black girl running a coffee cafe in South Italy. Really? Really? All right. Let it go. I think I found where I belong. You didn't have that left in that movie. Well, yeah, show me that. Then I say, oh, maybe humanity's worth continuing on. But right now, y'all can go fuck yourselves. Fucking election coming up now. Like producers versus parasite. You got half the population. We deserve free shit. Like the idea that communism cannot be defeated in the human psyche, where you guys keep trying this free shit over and over and over, and you have no moral fucking qualms about stealing and parasiting off of other fellow human beings. Fuck off. Fuck this shit. Fuck you. Western civilization, most advanced technology, most advanced this, most advanced that. Look at our academics. Look at the studying. And I'm like, to what? Make us hate each other? Be a bunch of pricks to one another? The NBA dude, bro, the companies out there, instead of even in their long-term best interest, like, can you make a good product at a fair price that lasts forever? And then we'll pay you and be loyal customers. You have a customer for life. You make profit. No, we got a chintz and fuck you over in the ass. Like literally every corporation ever. You can't go outside without getting fucked in the ass. And here we are. Oh my God. Men want to stay in, play their video games, watch Nebraska, and would dream at getting a sex bot. Oh, surprise. And I don't know. Until you can make a case for humanity, I can't see a case against sex bots. I can't. I can't see a case against you girls in your Harlequin romance novels. I can't see a case against your toys. I can't see a case against MBA, master's degree girl. I can't. Because y'all ain't got nothing to invest in. There's no other humans to invest in. It's just a bunch of fucking NPCs running around trying to fuck each other in the ass. That's all the US should be. Everyone's just got a strap on and they're just looking for assholes. There you go. What I got linked below. Link below, I got the menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. Get used to that, guy. I mean, half you ain't gonna get married because I'm not gonna say which sex it is. One half of the population wants nothing to do with the other, and it's verified. It's already happening. It's proven in the numbers and the data and the statistics where half the people aren't going to be married of marrying age, and that's coming up in 6 short years if those numbers can be proven true, which they're on track to be. So since half the population doesn't want to have half of one half of the population is forecasted not to want to have anything to do with the other half, and then they'll probably get divorced anyway at the same 50% rate. So let's just call it 75% of one half of the population wants nothing to do with the other half. There's a whole shitload of people going to be existing without families, love, or children, or a spouse. So I say you all get intricately familiar with yourself and learn to live life that this God or nature has given you and get the menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. Link below so you don't piss it away. Then there's also, the hell else is left? The Book of Numbers analyzing the ROI in the pursuit of women. If this sounds pessimistic, if it sounds all dire, go read the fucking numbers. Go look at the statistics and you tell me if I'm wrong. And I think maybe I linked to A World Without Men, an analysis of an all-female economy. I think I linked to that. And you can find out, okay, now that, one half the population wants nothing to do with the other half, what will it look like? What will our economy look like? So we don't need those plumbers or linemen or electrician. They're gross. They come home all stinky. Can you imagine a world like, why don't you girls just move to Switzerland? It's all banking and finance over there and watchmaking. Yeah, I got a question for the Swiss people. I'm kidding, of course. It's not as simple as this. But basically, you're either a banker or a watchmaker in Switzerland, right? So are the watchmakers like the gross men and all the banking type of guys? That's all the ones that the girls go after. How do you watchmakers in Switzerland feel about it? Oh, it's just so tiring, man. Like it's just so like aren't you tired? Are you pissed, John? I got a question. Are you are you tired, guys? Because I don't know about you, but I'm tired. I got a life to go live. And the fuck if my life is going to be enslaved to pulling teeth to convince women who aren't that interested in hanging out with you. All right, let's go to the super chats and have ourselves a treat. Michael M, $6. I've been listening to some TFM who's very intelligent. Yes. Now I'm generally, for me personally, I would not get a sex doll or a sex. No, well, I get a fembot, one that doesn't kill you. You gave me a step of you, I'd have a harem, it'd be done. You never see me again. But I would not personally, sex dolls are not for me. But yes, TFM provides the best argument for basically surrogates or physical replacements, non-sentient replacements for women. I can't disagree with them. It just doesn't apply to my personal life. TFM, who's very intelligent and interesting. This is the one part where he loses me. I would never have sex with the doll. Right. You don't have to. And neither would I. But if you've ever listened to him explain why, I'm like, he's not wrong for his individual point and purpose. I would just say, well, why not just go rent, which is the oldest. What should tell you something, the oldest profession has been around since forever. ET, 20 generous dollars. Thank you. Hi, Cappy. Would you recommend a separate emergency fund for something like a sudden water heater break comparative to the 6 months of living expenses? We just utilize the 6 months and refund it in time thing. Yeah, I would throw that. I mean, if there's expense, like for example, I got a water pump and I bought it a backup pump to buy it now to hedge against inflation. Uh, I would say unless you had a family, just toss extra couple money into that, car repairs, things like that. If you wanted to be technical about it, you could have 2 separate accounts, like specifically earmarked. I think that's a bit overkill on the paperwork. Just toss another month of expenses in there. Say, okay, the car is going to need 3,000 in repairs. Water heater, what? $500 plus expenses yourself. you should say $5,000 for things breaking down fund. But I wouldn't separate it into a different account. Just toss it into your emergency fund. You'll be fine. Ace Montana, tied for the most American name in America. $5 for men who don't want kids outside of sex. Do you think the desire for a relationship is rooted in nature, or is it social conditioning? It's a good question. I think men want to have women around. I think men get lonely otherwise. I mean, that's borne out with divorce statistics. Older men want to get married. Older women do not. They don't like you that much. I'm pointing that out. They point it out for you. All don't want to. You hear Jimmy, but you're not listening to Jimmy. I also think it is social conditioning because in times past, women needed to be taken care of and all that. No, it's unfortunate being born into these interesting times. It's the worst it's ever been in this particular and very important aspect of human history. But we're here. And, I'm just trying to tell you how it is on the ground so you know how to diagnose this absolutely 100% accurately and make the correct choices going forward. The irony is that it is up to the agency of women. This could all end tomorrow if girls wanted to go back, which they don't. But the irony is you're relying upon the agency of women to like, hey, do you want to make this choice? They can't figure out what they want for lunch, let alone, do we want to go back to being traditional women? There's that meme. What was it? Women on death row. The guy comes in and he says, what do you want for your last meal? She says, I don't know. What do you want? So humanity is fucked. Oh, good times, man. I don't know. I think I don't know. All the shit in the hell I had. I was driving to Minneapolis last week. I'm remembering all this bad fucking shit and all these assholes and all the bad times. And I'm not like trying to look for bad time. I'm just like, God, this thing, that thing. But man, at the end of the day, it's been it's been fun, huh? It's been fun. It's like Force 10 from Navarone. They realize they got to set the bombs and they're not going to make it out by the time it explodes. And well, it's been fun and they shake hands. Reed Schwartzer. Oh, hang on. Okay. Let me get back to the comments. Reed Schwartzer, $5. Again, although I argue incentives, the problem is the sex bot for some men outweigh the benefit of a real woman today. Yeah. Well, Korn does that now. And and okay, we can argue each of the sexes are going to their respective corners with their own interests, and their interests outside of the opposite sex is stronger than the interest in the opposite sex. But there was also the traditional holdover of marriage. I mean, it is going to be an obsolete institution. I'd argue it already is, but we're going to be talking about it in the past tense as we enter a post-marriage society. But that also, there is now tremendous financial and legal risks associated with committing to the opposite sex. And with that fresh on men's minds, and now people are abandoning marriage, so the risks are less. All right, yeah, when men factor that in the cost benefit analysis, that is very much on their mind. And so that's another look, again, I've talked about before, girls, you can't make the pursuit of you have men put their lives at risk or livelihood at risk. You can't say, yeah, well, if it doesn't work out, and then now you're back in the poorhouse when you're 18 living on a couch. I mean, the male sex drive is strong, but not that strong. But again, these are not my problems. This is a you problem. You guys figure this out. I'm done. Reed Schwartzer, $10. Well, it's like these recent articles. How do we get men to invest in society without catering to any of their wants? Right. I know. The Scooby-Doo mystery. Then you have the people, well, men should just do it because it's the right thing. Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. And this is the paradox, and I think, a tragedy really for women, like, 'cause look, they really don't like the average guy, but then they want guys to invest in society. Well, the one thing that motivates men is your physical beauty and sex with you, which women are like, "Well, no, that's me. I get it. It's your own body. It's you. You don't want all that dick inside. I understand. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. You want men to invest in society, you're gonna have to get laid. You don't want them to you wanna be left alone, well, then you don't get civilization. Sorry. I mean, how about there be room where how about you just treat men nice in terms of general policy? No, you can't discriminate with affirmative action. How about you knock it off with this shit where you hate men? And we don't need you. And men are always the bad guy. I think that would go a certain like, what if you were just friendly and cordial towards men? Um, but no, with Marxism is the number one thing is the victim oppressor narrative, so they gotta have that there. That's fine, that's fine. Just don't I what we should do, Reen and everyone else, is why even waste any more really, why waste breaths anymore? Like, well, you gotta consider men if they're not going to. I think let reality and nature make the argument for you. When all sudden it's not $300 to repair your toilet, but $1,200 to repair your toilet. And it's still a guy that's got to do it. Maybe the pain will be enough. Like, oh, wait a minute. You see bits and pieces of this happening. Some of the younger girls on TikTok. Now, a lot of it, of course, is theater and clickbait. But they're all like, yeah, I want a man because they kind of took care of things. Da, 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 da. I'm like, okay, you're starting to think they're, 5, 6 generations. You might remove the welfare state and make it so that we have 10% taxes instead of 40, and then we can afford to take care of you. Slowly moving the oil tanker around. It's starting to happen. But the oil tanker is not going to 180 and go the other direction full steam in our lifetime. It's just not going to happen. Reen, 5. Oh, did I get the. Yeah, I got that. Reen, $5 again. Didn't we get replaced by the government? Yes, we did. We've been replaced by white collar work, which is voluntary. I don't care. And we have been replaced by government checks. Yes. yes, we have. And I suggest you men get some government checks. They're like, hey, I got a touch of the tism. Hey, lady, go work more. Pay my taxes and girl boss pay. Oh, I would have liked to have worked, but you girl bossed and you hired nothing but a bunch of women, and now I can't find a job. Oh, I think I have PTSD. Pay more taxes. Give me a disability check. Didn't we get replaced by the government? I mean, that did happen, right? Or did I imagine we voting Kamala and higher taxes, right? Yeah. You have the larger thing is women are more risk averse. And when given the opportunity to vote, women will it's not necessarily Democrat, Republican. It is trading trading freedom for security. Men prefer freedom, women prefer security. And the two are opposite. And if a girl can get a government check and not have to sleep with a guy she doesn't find physically attractive, I mean, wouldn't you take that? It's a great paradox we're in, isn't it? It's a great, interesting times. Interesting times. Yeah, you're going to throw sludge, 37 octane sludge into the engine. Don't be surprised if the engine doesn't fire up or go as fast as with racing fuel. Again, is just me. I understand not wanting to sleep with men you're not attracted to. Obviously, I understand you want to do your own thing. You're an individual. I get that. But does it kill you to be nice to men and not make them the enemy? Does it kill you to stay in physically attractive shape? I mean, for your own health, but a byproduct of that is men would be more motivated. I mean, they didn't have pinups of Lizzo in the trenches of World War II. Oh, that's all right. Thanks, Ken, for the buck. Designs, $5. All these arguments against bots and dolls and the powers that be want population control. It's a show and it ain't worth watching. I think I they may want population control. I think it was already built in. I think the end or flaw of humanity was already built in to women with our intelligence and natural female. This is all animal kingdoms. Natural female disinterest in the male sex. I mean, at least we're not Black Widows where the gals are trying to kill us. All right. Well, I mean, we got that. Talk about simps. Black Widow males. Am I right? My God, look at that guy. They need the red pill in the Black Widow male community, don't they? Not? Uh, uh, it's I don't know if it's necessarily conscious. I think it's just the female sex of all animals on the planet are just not that interested in the men, humans included. And now we got to the technology and the ability where, whoa, we can. I mean, it might get maybe going forward. The only way humanity survives is we have incubation babies. Now, the humans that are going to be produced, I'm not genetically speaking, and they're going to be raised by the state. Human intelligence will just stop. Progress will end. Once we get to this Borg-like commune, like a beehive, the individuality of humanity will stagnate. That'll be it. It will be about obedience and conformance. It will not be about excellence or individuality. But I think it's a natural the safety valve for overpopulation is built into our intelligence and the female sex drive. I think that's the best way to put it. Zeno Bob, 5 Canadian. Sex bots were already 40% there. VR along with some weed. At least that's what a friend of mine said. Well, and there's substitute goods. What you think sex toys aren't a substitute goods for you guys? Really, we're swapping each other. What you think Harlequin romance books and girly movies? You think that isn't a replacement for you? Of course it is. Sex toys, Harlequin romance books or movies, and then government checks. You've effectively been replaced. Now there's no love and there's no family and there's no hugs, but I don't know. Call me cynical, but based on choices, girls are not that interested. I know girls are kind of interested in having kids, but they got to wait till later. But given the rate of abortion, I mean, how really interested are you in having kids? I'd say something that'd be incredibly distasteful, but it makes me wonder, like, if it's a Rodney Dangerfield quote from Caddyshack. Whoa, now I know why tigers do something. I'm like, well, really? Would that be the next step? Honestly, I mean, I don't know how interested you are in having kids. It was dark, but I didn't have to say it. I just had a great movie, by the way. You guys missed I'm sorry. There's a quote in Caddyshack. Hey, everybody, we're all going to get laid. And everyone rejoices. Remember when sex was fun? It wasn't supposed to be this anger or this tool of oppression. Remember when people just got laid and had fun? Ah, never mind. All right, there you guys go. Link below, the book of numbers, analyzing the RI and the pursuit of women. The menu, life without the opposite sex. And I think also listed below, a world without men, an analysis of an all-female economy. Oh, you all think I'm pessimistic and negative. Keep reading. Tell me if I'm right. I'm at that age and people are like, well, yeah, you're right. How'd you know it was coming? I'm like, yeah, because I didn't have my head shoved up my ass and watched CNN with Anderson the Robot Cooper. All right, toodles.